Hello, friends. Once again, welcome all of you on the channel of Udan the Fly. Friends, there is an information for you, those guys who want to become PGT or TGT in future can attend our offline batches from 26th November 2021. Admissions are going to be opened from 26th November 2020. So welcome all of you. Come and join our institute and become a teacher and complete your ambition. So welcome all of you on my channel. And now I am going to begin my today's lecture that is related with John Keats from 1795 to 1821 is a famous and celebrated poet of Romantic era. As you know, John Keats' name has spreaded all over the world, and his own life was very panic. His own life was very, terrific, and very painful. And that was very, very suffering life. Because John Keats had with love, to any girl, and she was not ready to live with John Keats. She was not ready to join Keats as husband or as lover. So this was the reason why his life became very panic. He was deeply with love. He had drowned in love. He had touched the bottom of love. And that was the reason he became very serious. My friends, love is a factor which happens with all humanity who comes on the earth. William Shakespeare writes that everyone falls in love. Everyone falls in love. If you breathe, if you can see, if you can touch, if you have 5 sense organs, then the love will happen with you this time or that time. But will be happened. This is reality. And it was commented by Shakespeare that everyone falls in love. But here I want to give a comment that there is no falling in love. This is negative thinking about love, that we fall in love. Why we fall? Who falls? No one falls. We upgrades in love. We immerses in love if we can understand the real meaning and passage of love, So love is a grace of nature. Love is a grace of creation. Love is a blessing of God. You must be aware of that. Love is God. So, John Keats was also with love. His beloved didn't like him. And this was the reason why his life was suffering. And to avoid those memoirs, those, things, he used some type of intoxication, Intoxication. And he wanted that my life can be passed easily with intoxication, That was some special type of intoxication what he used at that time. And my friends, that was the reason that his health became very weak, and he became the addict of tuberculosis. He became the patient of tuberculosis. And the last time of his life was very, very panic, very severe, you know. And at that period, when John Keats was at the climax of pain, he composed worldwide poem, Ode to a Nightingale. How surprising, how amazing that a poet is writing a poem at that time when his life was in great pain. It is so contrast in literature, but this is reality, my friends, that the best poems have been composed when the composer was at the acme of pain, at the acme of words, you know. And at that time, Ode to a Nightingale was composed. This was happened with John Keats. And this is the reason why this poem has become worldwide famous. Because that sensation, that inspiration, and that spirit, what has been poured in that poem, that is not artificial, that is natural. And that was happened with Keats himself. So that is so effective, so impressive, and so long life. So, my friends, today, come on, we join our PDF and know about John Keats point to point. He was born on the 31st October 1795 at Finsbury in London. His father Tom Keats was a stable keeper who died in 1804. His mother was Frances Keats. She died in 1810 from tuberculosis. He was educated at Anfield. In 1816, he became acquainted with Leigh Hunt, the famous radical journalist and poet. He studied in a school of clerks after he was apprenticed to Thomas Hammond, a surgeon and apothecary of Edmund. His friends were Leigh Hunt and Clark. Joseph Severn, one of his friends, accompanied him to Italy and had been with him even at the time of his last breath in Rome. He fell in love with Fanny Bronte. He passionately loved her. She did not respond to his love. Important. He passionately loved her. She did not respond to his love. This is the thing what I had commented some time before, that her beloved didn't like to survive with him. The bitterness of this appointment weighed heavily upon his already dropping spirits and broke health. His health broke. According to some biographers, she had agreed to marry him, but he could not marry her on account of his poverty and growing illness. She lived in London, and now we shall see principal works of John Keats. Endymion 1818 is composed in 4 books. It is the story of the brain-sick shepherd prince with whom moon goddess Cynthia falls in love. Important. Endymion 1818 is composed in 4 books. It is the story of the brain-sick shepherd prince with whom moon goddess Cynthia falls in love. Important. In his preface, Keats described this work as a feverish attempt rather than a deed accomplished. The poem was badly criticized by Blackwood's Magazine and Quarterly Review. The famous line of the quoted shows his view about beauty. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Very important. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. His third volume, published in 1820, Isabella or the Poet of Basil, 1818, Imitation Spenser, 1813, Hyperion, 1818, is a story of the struggle between older and younger. Important. Hyperion, 1818, is a story of the struggle between older and younger. Important. 1-star question. Divinities. Between older and younger, divinities, Saturn, Hyperion and Apollo. It is modeled on Paradise Lost by Milton. The book second of Hyperion provides the theory. First in beauty shall be first in might. First in beauty shall be first in might. The fall of Hyperion is a dream vision. It tells about the Moneta, the goddess of memory. What is Moneta? The goddess of memory. Lamia, it was the Latin name for a witch who was supposed to suck children's blood. Lamia, it was the Latin name for a witch who was supposed to suck children's blood. The Eve of the Saint Agnes, 1820, is based on medieval theme. It describes the love affair of Porphyro and his beloved Madeline. It is a myth is told as a virgin who has fasted on Eve of Saint Agnes dreams about his desired lover. The poem has presented passionate desire of love. The Eve Saint Mark. In a letter he wrote, I am certain of nothing but the holiness of the heart's affections and the truth of imagination. What the imagination seizes as beauty must be truth. With a great poet's sense of beauty overcomes every other consideration, or rather obliterates all considerations. He is of the view, if poetry comes not as naturally as leaves to a tree, it had better not come at all. Very important. If poetry comes not as naturally as leaves to a tree, it had better not come at all. Triple star. Very important. Do you not see how necessary a world of pains and troubles is to school? And intelligence and make it soul? Do you not see how necessary a world of pains and troubles is to school and intelligence and make it soul? John Keats' cry was, for a life of sensations rather than of thought. Important. For a life of sensations rather than of thoughts. Means, what is the effect of Keats? He prefers sensation rather than thoughts. He prefers sensation rather than thought. In the following lines of the Eve of Saint Agnes, appeal is to the eye, to the sense of touch, smell, and to the ear. Of all its wreathed pearls, her hair she frees. What imagination! What imagination! Of all its wreathed pearls, her hair she frees, and claves her warm jewels, On by one, loosens her fragrant bodies by degrees. Her rich attire creeps rustling to her knees. Wow, what a poem! What a poem! John Keats is content to extend nature through the senses. John Keats is content to extend nature through the senses. The setting sun will always set one to rights, or if a sparrow come before my window, I take part in its existence and pick about the gravel. He writes, I have loved the principle of beauty in all things. Very, very important. Very, very important. I have loved the principle of beauty in all things. Triple star. I have loved the principle of beauty in all things. Beauty is the truth. Beauty is the truth. Truth, beauty. That is all you know and all you need to know. Triple star. Beauty is truth. Truth, beauty. That is all you know and all you need to know. In his sonnet, Why Did I Laugh Tonight? Why did I laugh tonight? He writes, Worth, fame, and beauty are intense indeed, but death in intenser death is life need. John Keats declares his view beautifully. Poetry, fame, and beauty are glorious. They fire the soul, but none is so glorious, none lights so great a flame in soul as death. Death is the crown of life. Very, very important. What a comment. Poetry, fame, and beauty are glorious. They fire the soul. They fire the soul. But none is so glorious, none lights so great a flame in soul as death. Death is the crown of life. Wow. जिंदगी तो बेवफा है एक दिन ठुकराएगी. जिंदगी तो बेवफा है एक दिन ठुकराएगी. मौत महबूबा है मेरी साथ लेकर जाएगी. The same feeling, the same sensation is pouring here by John Keats in these lines. Death is the crown of life. Death is the crown of life. Wow. It provides the total ease. It provides and it releases you from all the anxieties, all the vanities, all the aspirations, all the ambitions, all the failures, and all the pain of the world. You go beyond all the humanitarian activities. You go in the zeroness, you go in the space, living all the contrasting humanitarian things on this earth. And that is the death which makes it possible. You go beyond all of the things, all of the boundaries. That is the death which make it possible. So John Keats is saying about that same thing, Death is the crown of life. Triple star question. Death is the crown of life by John Keats. P.B. Shelley writes about Keats. P.B. Shelley writes about Keats. He was a Greek. He was a Greek. John Keats has expressed his longing to be a part of the nature. Seize upon the midnight with no pain. Seize upon the midnight with no pain. Wow, what a comment. What a comment. Seize upon the midnight with no pain. He wrote 8 odes, namely Ode to a Nightingale, most important, Ode to a Nightingale, Ode on a Grecian urn, important, Ode on a Grecian urn, Ode to Psyche, important, Ode on Poets, Ode to Autumn, important, Ode to Melancholy, important, Ode on Indolence, Ode to Fanny and Ode to Maya, a fragment. Sonnets by Keats. On first looking into Chapman's Homer, 1816, when I have fears that may cease to be, 1817, important. To one who has been long in city pent, 1818, bright star, would I wear steadfast as thou art, 1819, important. Professor Reid remarks that Keats wrote some 60 sonnets. 60 sonnets. Professor Reid remarks that Keats wrote some 60 sonnets. He wrote, "The poetry of earth is never dead. The poetry of earth is never dead," from On the Grasshopper and Cricket. On visiting the tomb of Burns to sleep, if by dull rhymes our English must be chained, the flower and the leaf, after dark vapors have oppressed our pains, important. Important. After dark vapors have oppressed our pains, the human seasons, he intended to lead nobler life in which he would find the agonies, the strife of human hearts. He was not mere dreamer. He was not mere dreamer. It means he was not only dreamer. He writes to Woodhouse in a letter, "It is a wretched thing to confess, but is a very fact that none word I ever utter can be taken for granted as opinion growing out of my identical nature. How can it when I have no nature?" Middleton Murray, in his book named Keats and Shakespeare, wrote that Keats was the greatest of Shakespeare's successors. Keats was the greatest of Shakespeare's successors. He wrote, "I look upon the fine phrases like a lover, magic, casements opening on the foam of perilous seas and fairy lands forlorn." About Ode on Indolence, he says in a letter to his friend, "You will judge of my 1819 temper in the year when I tell you that the thing I have most enjoyed this year had been writing on Ode on Indolence." Further, he says, "I have been very idle lately, very averse to writing, both from the overpowering idea of our dead poets and from abatement of my love of fame. I hope I'm a little more of a philosopher than I was, consequently a little less of versifying pet lamp." Ode to Fanny. What is Ode to Fanny? Is addressed to Fanny Brawne. It expresses his mood. The letter which he wrote to the lady in July 1819. At night, when the lonely day has closed, and the lonely, silent, and musical chamber is waiting to receive me as into a sepulchre, then believe me, my passion gets entirely sway. Then I would not have you see those rhapsodies which I once thought it impossible I should ever give way to. He writes, "To see those eyes I prize above my own, dirt favors on another, and those sweet lips yielding immortal nectar," very important. To see those eyes I prize above my own, dirt favors on another, and those sweet lips yielding immortal nectar, be gently pressed by any but myself. Think, Francesca, what a cursed thing! It were beyond expression. Ode to fancy, in this ode to writes, reality is beautiful, but it can never satisfy. Reality is beautiful, but it can never satisfy. Reality is beautiful, reality is beautiful, but it can never satisfy. Important. Birds of Passion, it is based on the double immortality of poets. In Sleep and Poetry he writes, I stood tiptoe upon a little hill. Isabella, or the poet of Basil 1818, is a version of a tale from Boccaccio and deals with the murder of a lady's lover by her two wicked brothers. The Eve of St. Agnes is a tale of elopement of two lovers, Porphyro and Madeline. Lamia, snake enchantress, its story is taken from Burton's The Anatomy of Melancholy and tells of a beautiful snake enchantress effectively. The Fall of Hyperion, it is composed in blank verse. It is expression of Keats' philosophy of beauty. Keats' philosophy of beauty, which he feels to be attainable only by those who have experienced pain. John Keats influenced Tennyson and Pre-Raphaelites. John Keats influenced Tennyson and Raphaelites, follower of Raphael. Otho, a tragedy and only play by Keats. Otho, a tragedy and only play by Keats. Poems, 1817, is a small collection of juvenile verse. Some of the poems are Imitation of Spenser, On Death, To Hope, I Stood Tiptoe. Sleep and Poetry contains Keats' poetical philosophy and foreshadows his development. Endymion, a poetic romance, 1818. Its main idea is the quest for ideal beauty, how the poet longs for full communion with the essential spirit of beauty, and how, through the exercise of active human sympathies, he achieves his quest. The poem opens with the oft-quoted line, "A thing of beauty is a joy for ever." A thing of beauty is a joy for ever. Important. The Eve of St. Mark, 1820, an incomplete medieval poem. Ode to Psyche, 1820. T.S. Eliot thinks it Keats' best ode. Ode to Psyche was composed in 1820, and T.S. Eliot thinks it Keats' best ode. Ode on a Grecian Urn, 1820. Ode on a Grecian Urn, 1820, contains theme of permanence of art with the transitioniness of human life, and is famous for its line, "Beauty is truth, truth beauty." Very, very important. Ode on a Grecian Urn, 1820, contains theme of permanence of art with the transitioniness of human life, and is famous for its line, "Beauty is truth, truth beauty." So this question can be put in your examination, where this comment has been put up, "Beauty is truth, truth beauty." So right answer will be Ode on a Grecian Urn. Ode on a Gracie and Arden. Very, very important triple star question. Ode on Melancholy 1820 deals with the nature of true melancholy. Ode to a Nightingale 1820, most important, triple star. Ode to a Nightingale 1820 is in part a song of death and in part a song of despair. A song of death and a song of despair. It contains a premonition of his premature death. La Belle Dame Sans Mercy 1820, a medieval ballad. Important, second star. Triple star, very, very important. La Belle Dame Sans Mercy, a beautiful lady without mercy. A medieval ballad. What is it? It is a medieval ballad. When I have fears that I may cease to be is a sonnet which is a prophecy of his early death in Shakespearean form. The Fall of Hyperion 1820, a dream is the expression of poet's ideal of humanitarianism. Otho, a poetic drama, is a tragedy. Otho, what is Otho? This is a poetic drama and is a tragedy. And now friends, we shall do some multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions, MCQs, and the first question is, how many sonnets were composed by Shakespeare? Good question. How many sonnets were composed by Shakespeare? (154). The right answer is C, 154. 154 sonnets were composed by William Shakespeare. Question number 2. Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude, thy tooth is not so keen. In which play of Shakespeare the above lines are figured? First option, Richard II, Henry IV, As You Like It, none of these. And the right answer is, C, As You Like It. As You Like It. As You Like It. In Shakespeare's As You Like It, everyone who lives in the forest of Arden is happy. In Shakespeare's As You Like It, everyone who lives in the forest of Arden is happy, but there is one person who is forever melancholic. Forever melancholic. Who is he? The banished Duke. First option, the banished Duke. Second, Jacques, the Duke's attendant. Third, Celia. And D, none of these. What may be right answer? And the right answer will be 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 B. Jackie is the Duke's attendant. Jackie is the Duke's attendant. Everyone in the forest of Arden is happy, but this man, Jackie is the Duke's attendant, is melancholic, is unhappy at the same place, This is the question.